They're not about what you guesstimate seems obvious about all of this and how it went down, even if we all pay attention and have our own ideas. This is a congressional investigative subpoena-backed process. It's already led to some indictments. This is the real thing. And so today, this hearing is about the actual evidence and record, which is new and damning, specifically regarding the former president.
I remember looking at him and saying, Rudy, could you explain what's happening on the 6th? We're going to the Capitol. It's going to be great. The president's going to be there. Mark said something to the effect of, there's a lot going on, Cass, but I don't know, things might get real bad. I recall Tony and I having a conversation with Mark, mentioning knives, guns in the form of pistols and rifles.
There's an individual in a tree. He's got blue jeans and a blue jean jacket, and underneath the blue jean jacket, the complainant's also on stock of an AR-15.
Bear spray, body armor, spears, and flagpoles.
Two of the individuals in that group at the base of the tree, near the porta potties, they had Glock-style pistols in their waistband.
We've got 3 men walking down the street. If a teen was carrying AR-15, copy of 14 for independent.
Have you talked to the president? And Tony said, yes, sir, he's aware too.
Was he told again in that conversation that people couldn't come through the mags because they had weapons?
Correct.
He was effing furious.
You know, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here. Let the people in. Take the effing mags away. He thought the mags were at fault for not letting everybody in. He wanted it full, and he was angry that we weren't letting people through the mags with weapons.
Just to be clear, Ms. Hutchinson, is it your understanding that the president wanted to take the mags away and said that the armed individuals were not there to hurt him?
That's a fair assessment. There were many discussions each that day. Fight for Trump. We're going to march to the Capitol. I'll be there with you. Fight for me. Fight for what we're doing. Fight for the movement.
We're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
It was becoming clear to us and to the Secret Service that Capitol Police officers were getting overrun at the security barricades outside of the Capitol building, and they were short people.
Staff believed that Mogul, the president, was, quote, going to the Capitol.
We have a fight to the Capitol! Fight to the Capitol! We lost the line! We lost the line!
When President Trump left the ellipse stage at 1:10, the staff knew that rioters had invaded the inaugural stage.
I called Mr. Ornato to reconfirm that we weren't going to the Capitol. We were not going up to the Capitol.
We were not going up to the Capitol amidst the march, the breach, the violence against the officers. It was red alert level. And then the other part that is most significant today and most legally damning for Donald Trump, accused of crimes in office, is that when the agents refused his insistent, repeated request that he go join the armed protesters, who some of these agents had heard him say he wanted to be admitted armed so they could go do whatever it was they'd all planned to do together. The agents refused for Donald Trump, then President Trump's safety. We learned today the extent, absolutely extreme extent that Trump acted. And keep in mind, if a different person inside the government did this, had physical contact, initiated a physical clash with an agent, they would not only be out of a job, they would be detained on the spot. Here's more of what we learned in the bombshell evidence against Donald Trump today.
Bobby had relayed to him, we don't have the assets to do it. It's not secure. We're going back to the West Wing. The president had very strong, very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now. To which Bobby responded, sir, we have to go back to the West Wing. The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol. Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
Wow.
And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
Our special coverage begins with former Watergate prosecutor Nick Ackerman and the New York Times' Michelle Goldberg. Nick, what is the level of this testimony?
Unbelievable.
Unfreaking
believable.
I mean, what we didn't know about before today, and we had a hunch, at least it was my hypothesis, that Trump knew 2 days before.
And people wonder why I hate this man. And black folks that voted for him and Latinos, y'all ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
Mistakes he wasn't.
This man is sick.
So what Trump would it show?
I ain't got to say nothing else. I can't wait till he get fried. You will not be running for president in 2024. I promise you.
Is this, I'm just pressing you on this for precision. In your mind, is this the first time we've had an eyewitness inside the Trump
We
White House
never had no president do this.
link him to encourage
From
him?
George Washington on down, whether you think they bad presidents or not.
Nobody, not forget inside the White House, we had no evidence linking Trump to the violence. Remember, at his second impeachment hearing, he was claiming that his statements at the ellipse were simply guaranteed by the First Amendment.